got that visa. She got that visa. And ooh, and a halo. I'm excited. Hi guys, it's me. I'm in Montreal right now. I just woke up from a nap, so this beautiful puffy face is my face after waking up from a nap. But anyway, I'm in Montreal. Whoop whoop, I'm in Montreal. Whoop whoop. I was going to film earlier, but I was just really tired and in a terrible mood. This is Le Village de Montreal. I am at the Hilton Garden Inn, which I would recommend. It's super nice and it's located right downtown. I've eaten a little bit. It is 7:30. My friend is here, so hopefully we can meet up and get dinner. But I'm working on my presentation, and then there's a pool here, y'all. So your girl's gonna get into the pool, and then I'm gonna go to sleep because tomorrow is my presentation. I'm not gonna film it. I've done this presentation already, which is bad. You're not supposed to present on something multiple times and then not publish it. So that's why I'm gonna get my paper published. Like, I'm gonna publish my paper. But anyway, yeah, I'm in Montreal. I've seen some really beautiful things. I'm gonna try to be really good tomorrow about film and stuff and showing you guys the beautiful city. And this is ASA 2017. This is the biggest conference for the entire discipline of sociology, the annual meeting. Thousands of sociologists from all over the world come here to, you know, advance their careers and network and stuff. So anyway, I'm really excited to be here to see this beautiful city, present, meet some people, hopefully meet up with some more Black sociologists and go to the Sociologists for Justice meeting as well, and go to some good talks, meet some people, make connections, because I'm about to start my dissertation. So anyway, y'all, one thing I'll say is about self-care. Of course, I wanted to film like getting up and all this stuff, but I was really busy this morning, and I again was not in a good mood when I got off the plane. I was really annoyed because I was starving, so I was super hangry. It took me an hour to get to my hotel, and then once I ate, I was like, okay, I'm in a good mood. But I didn't have my camera, so I walked around and stuff, and then I came back to my hotel and took a nap. So now I've slept and I'm hungry again, but first I'm gonna try to do a little bit more work on my presentation. I've done it before, but again, I just want to work on it for like 30-40 minutes, so I don't need notes. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you're well. I'm the one. I'm the one. Good morning, beautiful people. Today is the day. I'm about to head off to the conference. I'm gonna get ready because right now I'm just rocking some casual clothes because I went to get a juice. I am trying to eat healthfully and I love fresh pressed juices. So I went and got one of those. It's ginger, pineapple, turmeric. Oh, it's so good, and lime. It's super good. So I'm gonna get ready, change into my conference stuff. It is raining outside. So it's really rainy, but I'm in a great mood. So I'm excited. There's a lot to see. I'm excited for the presentation. I feel very confident about it. And yeah, I will catch up with you guys once I am registered. I have my badge and I look like sociologist on a mission. myself, but I want to show you my view from my balcony. It's pretty intense. Intensely beautiful. Check it out. That is Montreal. I think that's what I said. It's pretty cool. It's a long way down. Good thing I'm not afraid of heights.
Activism, it was made very clear to me that being an academic is antithetical to being an activist and vice versa. Pretty early on, it was made clear to me that the point of graduate school was to beat the activists out of you, and that was the language that was used. I remember it's like a preparing future faculty course that I was taking in my 3rd year, and the person leading it, we were instructed to do like an elevator pitch for who we are. Hi, my name is Eric Roman. I do work on da 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 da. And I started with, my name is Eric Roman. I came to academia by way of activism. And she said, wait, we didn't beat the activists out of you yet? And she said it in jest, but that she made explicit for me something that was sort of, I was beginning to take note of. And other very passive-aggressive things, but essentially, the message was clear to me that in order to succeed in this program, I had to drop the activist part of who I was. All the way up through my last year, there was a professor in the department who has a popular blog, Org Theory, that addressed me in a blog post. The title is "Activism and Academia Don't Mix." So we're not mincing words here. So I had to learn to hide the activism, even though it was the reason I became an academic in the first place. It was the thing that was feeding my soul. And I internalized a lot of shame about being an activist because it meant, I'm doing this thing that is counter to what I'm here to do, which is to get this PhD. So that, unfortunately, was part of several things that ended up traumatizing me through the graduate experience. I'm still in therapy today, 4 years later, doing EMDR and so forth, trying to eradicate this sense that activism and academia do not mix. You need to separate the two. And it's violence almost to feel as though being black and queer and an activist is antithetical to your profession. That's awful to set somebody up for that. And part of the recovery from that very traumatizing 6 years has entailed reclaiming my voice as a scholar activist. That's why I became an academic. I cannot separate the two, although I was able to hide it. And part of that has been raising my consciousness about a long history of activism in academia, including sociology. There's black intellectual activists, Du Bois, for example, several black women. Ida B. Wells Barnett, one of our earliest ethnographers, her work was inherently scholar activist. And part of that was Patricia Hill Collins' 2013 book on intellectual activism. It really spoke to me. I mean, she is Collins in terms of feminist theory and so forth, and intersectionality. But this really spoke to me. And she defines intellectual activism as the myriad of ways that people place the power of their ideas into service, or in service to social justice. That is it. And that includes speaking truth to power, so that's the work we do as academics, whether it's activism or traditional scholarship, to challenge the status quo in society, challenging sort of old, outdated ideas, academically speaking through our research. And the other piece of that is speaking truth to the people. So this is just what we do. It's not just a matter of making our work publicly accessible and hoping people do something with it, and I love that you spoke to that. But making sure that there is something that they can do with it. You go out to the people and speak to them, especially if your goal is to liberate people through your scholarship. You need to be in touch with those people.
I'm really excited because I just talked to Dr. Eric Roman, who started this blog called Conditionally Accepted, which everybody should read if they have never read it, but it's an amazing blog about what it's like to be marginalized as a sociology PhD student. And you can look at what it's like to be a sociology PhD student and feel marginalized, feel overlooked, silenced, and actually deal with trauma and face like complex PTSD because of it. So that was awesome. Going to one of my last panels. This is like the craziness of it all. 512C. Man, there's a lot of people here. It's like staring at me. Why doesn't everybody do this?
Here. The title of this session is Concepts Without Borders, Race, Racism, Ethnicity, and Global Perspective. And it was something that I proposed out of a concern that, in the last couple of decades we've really had an incredible explosion of what I think is really excellent critical work on race, racism, and ethnicity. I guess these are great times to live in if you're a critical race scholar, although maybe not so great from a human perspective, or at least with everything that's been happening. But what's I found sometimes troubling is that for most scholarly work is centered generally in one context, either the US or another, there's some comparative work. But a lot of our theories and our concepts of race and racism and ethnicity are often drawn from one particular set of understandings. And as I've been doing more global work over the last decade, I've become increasingly aware of the US bubble that I started my professional career in, and the importance of going beyond that, the importance of all of us going beyond our national bubbles and really questioning what are the more universal elements of race and ethnicity.
What I'm going to discuss today is based on a chapter from my forthcoming book, which is coming out next month, entitled Citizen Outsider, Children of North African Immigrants in France, which is based on ethnographic research, including semi-structured interviews with 45 middle-class adult children of Maghrebin or North African immigrants in the Parisian metropolitan area. And I'm happy to talk more about methodology in the Q&A, but I want to kind of get to the crux of it in the interest of time. Okay, so despite an official masking of difference based on France's Republican ideology, the state actually has a narrow definition of what it means to be French, a definition which excludes particular populations within French society. My research addresses how the North African origin population is denied what I refer to as cultural citizenship because of their North African origins, which prohibits them from being fully included in mainstream society.
I'm going to talk a little bit about my methods. Also, I wanted to bring together the literature that looks at race and ethnicity, the literature that looks on immigration, as well as going to different countries and trying to say, can we talk about intermarriage, so I use the term mixing, in a global way? Can we, taking consideration historically in a different context, still find similarities or a way to understand it? So to do this, I use critical race theory, obviously coming from a perspective of challenging the notion that interracial marriage or intermarriage in any context tells us anything about assimilation. My argument is more similar almost to what we saw with the election of Barack Obama, that I think we learn more about racism and white supremacy from these unions and the responses to them than actually saying that it's somehow showing us that we've evolved racially as a society. So I take both qualitative approach, comparative historical. I also use cultural studies approach. So beyond just speaking to people, I also look at the media and popular culture of that country. So what have I done? I've been very busy over the last few years, working very hard, but as I'll tell you at the end, to advocate to do global research, having a lot of fun. So I've been to all of these countries: Argentina, Australia, Ecuador, France, Germany, Japan, Netherlands, Portugal, Senegal, Singapore, South Africa, Spain, Sweden, Thailand, and of course the United States. There's about 5 more countries I'm still gonna do. What did I do there? I did what I call an ethnography. I don't know if ethnographers would agree, but I did do focus group interviews. So in each country, the main racial and ethnic groups, also, in some countries it's about religion, it's about indigeneity, it's about tribe, whatever were the main groups in that country, I did focus group interviews with them. The communities, so they self-identified as part of that group. Furthermore, I went across the country to rural and urban and cities and all different types of, so for example, in a country like Australia, I was there for 3 months and literally like flew so many hours all over to get really a diverse sampling of the country. I'm kind of most interested in documenting is how there is this kind of, what I say, a global discourse against mixing and how it's used in different countries for very specific purposes. So it's kind of a caveat, so don't kill me in the questions after. Okay, so I argue there is this global hierarchies of mixing. Again, I use the term mixing because I think that it's one of the only ways we can talk about the definitions that are used in different countries. So for example, if we were at an international panel on intermarriage, it would probably be called intercultural marriage. That's usually the word. Mixing hopefully will take care of all of the categories I said. So to talk about this hierarchy, I want to set the stage with saying that I understand these discourses within historical narratives of colonization, oppression, and also with both historical and contemporary white supremacist and nationalist discourses, really coming straight out of what Cecilia and Steve were saying. So interestingly, what happens is usually when you start to talk about intermarriage, most groups, particularly dominant groups, particularly white groups, love to at first tell you how accepting the country is of intermarriage, and that it's celebrated. Yet interesting, those unions that are celebrated tend to be very specific. So even in the US we do this. I just saw some new data on our very high rates of intermarriage in this country, right? It's at 17% or something now. But the truth is, if you actually look at those rates of intermarriage, they're so specific and they're misleading. People are not engaging in interracial marriage by and large, and they're certainly not, whites and blacks are certainly not marrying.
There we go. I have a little deck. This is the view. Montreal. I know I've not really vlogged this conference. I've just been doing a lot of me stuff, trying to enjoy the city, but enjoy the conference. And yeah, unfortunately you can't get me in the background. Anywho, I'm about to head to some final sessions. I'm going to, what's up?
It's recording already?
Yeah, it's recording already.
What's up is we just attended the Sociologists for Justice meeting, and Sunita held it down. She was our spokesperson, did an amazing job.
You're so sweet to me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You know, I'm just really lucky to be in the presence of a super successful and amazing sociologist who is an ASA minority fellow, that's an amazing fellowship that if you're in sociology you should apply for. So I'm just really lucky to be able to kick it with him and bask in the glory of all that he does and all that who he is, and we're gonna be great co-chairs.
Definitely, yep.
Because we're really nice to each other.
Definitely. Soon to be MFP. Hopefully.
We're manifesting it. We need to be manifesting me getting an article published. Okay, that's and okay, so manifestation's done, so now we're gonna go eat dinner.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Okay.
We worked up
else?
an appetite.
Yeah.
I'm sad Sunita is leaving. I only see her like maybe twice a year.
Like every even life in life.
In Paris.
He's sweet.
Really great.
Okay, thank you.
Bye bye.
Peace.
be here. Do you guys hear the Fugees? But anyway, I'm on the beautiful old port in Montreal. It's gorgeous here. It's so beautiful. It's so open. The air is so clean. And I just want to say I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to come to this beautiful city and just like be here and view these sites. There are people who never get to leave their home and never get to leave their state. Some people leave their city. Lots of people don't leave their country. So I'm so grateful. It is gorgeous. It's so beautiful. It's warm, but there's a breeze. It's very lovely. So highly recommend Montreal. But just sending out gratitude to the universe for this beautiful experience. For real. Like, this to me is what it means to be alive. Just seeing a beautiful sight and being in that moment and just being grateful for it. So yeah, I'll continue to show you guys what I'm taking in. Thank you, Montreal. Thank you, Montreal. Hey y'all, I'm leaving Montreal. It's raining. Beautiful city. I'm leaving Montreal. I had a beautiful visit. This is a gorgeous city. If you live in Montreal, it's so beautiful. I loved it. I'm so troubled by everything that's going on in the world. You know, every year I come to ASA and some crazy shit pops off, and it reminds me of why we do this work, why it's so important to do this work, and why it's so important to keep taking care of ourselves, keep learning, keep growing, and keep struggling for justice. And to not ever feel like you're safe because of anything. There's no, you know, my blackness is what essentially defines me to a white supremacist, and I don't think me being a PhD or me being a woman makes me safe from violence. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for my community. As a black woman, I already face disproportionate chances of having a violent act committed against me. And so the reason I seek justice is because I want to make the world safer and more just for all people, especially people on the margins who look like me and people who don't look like me, people who have brown skin and are trans, or people who have brown skin who are just LGBTQ, or who are Muslim, who are disabled, whatever it is, and every intersection in between. But I do feel it's my duty as a citizen of the world and a human being and someone who has the privilege of the knowledge of knowing and understanding where this came from to do something. So, you know, I have a lot of thoughts about the fact that I'm moving to Paris, considering everything that's happening here, but I also know there's work to be done there too. So it saddens me, it deeply saddens me to leave Montreal and know what's happening in the United States and know that we are not safe. Brown and black bodies, especially perceived black bodies, are not safe in our own country. I feel safer in Canada than I do in the United States of America, and that's for sure. But in any case, I just had to say that. It's on my heart, and if you're an activist, and if you're just somebody who's learning, somebody who cares, please pay attention, please get involved, because we need you. We really do. We really, really, really do. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. If you're in Montreal, visit the Shaughnessy Cafe. It is super bon, and the owners are super nice. Really good soy latte. Hello, beautiful people. While I come into focus. Focus. Lucas? Come on. Come on. Good night, y'all.
To love. Love is a condition so powerful. It may be that which holds the stars in the firmament.
That's what I feel in my heart.